Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the Deep Dig with Sports Pod. I'm your host, Drew, with my other host over there.
What's up? It's D. Nice to see ya.
Yeah, man, I'm feeling good. I'm sure everyone listening is feeling good after a dominating win against the Rams. The only thing bringing me down right now, I'm out of LaCroix. I had to settle for Canada Dry today. They're not a sponsor show, but yeah, that's the only thing keeping me down. Other than that, Halloween, we're recording that today. When this comes out, it'll be after Halloween, but hope you guys had a good one. How are you feeling after that win?
I'm feeling good. For everyone watching right now, go ahead and go ahead and hit some comments, go ahead and subscribe to the channel so my boy Andrew can get some fucking LaCroix. Let him get some LaCroix in his veins. We need it. All your support helps out a ton. So
Help me, I'm poor.
let's have this guy get some LaCroix. But I'm feeling good. I'm feeling a little spooky. It's Halloween. I'm probably going to do some scary movies right now, but other than that, feeling great. I'm juiced off of the 49ers win. How about you, man?
Yeah, just as far as Halloween getting out of the way, I think tonight I'm in between. I got to look at the text thread, but we're in between staying home and watching Barbarian.
It's good. It's so good.
Or, I'm already going to be in costume for work, with the Naruto headband. So we might just go straight to the bar after that. So we're in between that. We'll see, play it by ear, see how it goes. But
see, we're thinking sushi and movie.
Ooh, a little sushi move.
Okay. Yeah, sushi and move, baby.
Okay, cool. But yeah, as far as this win, man, I'll take the heat saying I was pretty negative about the McCaffrey trade, but for this 1 week, I am completely wrong. He is amazing. I'm not worthy. McCaffrey, you are great. But we'll see moving forward, man. We'll see if this is. I'm not gonna believe it until we're in playoffs and McCaffrey's dominating and like Debo's rolling and Ayuk's get there and Kittle's healthy. Jimmy's not being a terrible quarterback. Like, we will see how this plays out. I know 1 week Shanahan was able to center this game plan completely around. It was almost, I don't want to say a good thing that Debo was hurt, but it was almost like a positive where they were like, now we can just put everything into McCaffrey and really let him get into the flow of it. And it worked out great, man. But moving forward, it's going to be interesting to see how Kyle can continue like creatively scheming this guy and keeping Debo fed. And I want to see Kittle a part of this offense like he has been the last 2 weeks. So yeah, everything positive right now.
Dude, Christian McCaffrey. It's Christian McCaffrey's world. We're just living in it. This guy is a straight beast. This is exactly why I was calling for the week before the trade for us to get the trade in. Like, when you have a player of this caliber, it doesn't matter. If you have him on the trade market and you have him available to you, you have the resources, you need to go out and do it. And so this is exactly the game that I was hoping for, because I rode so hard for Christian McCaffrey. But even then, it surpassed all of my expectations. He was amazing. He did triple crown. So he threw for one, he ran it in, and he caught one. So he's the only player to do that since LaDainian back in, I believe, 2005. So awesome showing. And I don't know if you heard during the broadcast, but I guess last week when Aaron Andrews was on the sideline, Debo went up, or she was talking with Debo, and Debo was like, hold on. And he went up to Jed York and was like, thank you. Thank you for going and getting this guy. This is awesome. I think it only helps out. And look at the last 2 weeks, or not even last 2 weeks, the last couple of weeks, Brandon Ayuk has had an emergence. This is a guy who we knew who was super talented, but I think once Jimmy got the ball, you're the starter, I think even in his mind, he was like, fuck, I can't. There's nothing that Jimmy Garoppolo does that suits my game. And Jimmy's really found a way to, make that connection with Brandon Ayuk, and it's worked wonders. So I'm happy to see that. I'm happy to see Kittle. I think once we have all things firing on all cylinders, it's going to be a scary offense to deal with, even if it is dinks and dunks and you throw the occasional deep bomb, which I will give them credit. They are Jimmy is trying to throw the deep ball. He's not great at it, but at least even if he underthrows it, there's a chance at a pass interference. And that's all I'm asking for. Just give us a chance to get some positive yardage, and you make the defense hesitate when you are doing like the play actions and things like that, it's like, I'm not really too sure what they're doing because now they can throw the deep ball and they have horses, dude. Ayuk is fast. Ray McCloud is fast. Danny Gray is sitting on the sidelines. I know he's a guy we don't see, but every time he's in the game, they know this guy's going deep and it opens up the field. So Christian McCaffrey, just awesome. I think adding this piece, it really sets us apart. And I'm going to go ahead and say bold prediction. I think if we end up getting in the driver's seat for the NFC West, Christian McCaffrey's name is a name that gets thrown out there as possible MVP candidate.
It might be a little too late into the season for MVP, but maybe like comeback player of the year if he qualifies for that. But then you get into that weird category of that award of like, what did they come back from? They come back from like playing on a bad team and like not having the stat line. But
He was injured last year.
He was injured. Like I don't know the certain qualifications, how long he needs to be injured or whatever. But MVP might be a little bit too late into the season.
But is there a clear MVP right now?
If Jalen Hurts keeps going undefeated, man, like how do you not put him into the conversation? And then, I mean, who else is everyone's that's doing well is from the NFC East.
Tony Pollard.
But I mean, maybe we'll do a YouTube exclusive talking about the MVP race right after this. But I just want to say before like we get even further into this game or into what we're talking about, Christian McCaffrey, thank you, because we hit our diamond pick of the week 4 weeks in a row, guys.
No, 5 weeks. You're missing a week, bud.
Whoa, 5 weeks.
This is I apologize. Week in a row we've hit it. And this week we gave you 2 winners, bro. We gave you 2 winners.
Guys, if you are not subscribed to the YouTube channel, I don't know what you're doing, because we are making money every week and we are giving you these picks every Saturday before the game. We are letting you know. We break down what's good, what's looking good, what's looking bad. We don't just give you one pick and then turn the camera off. We do go through the other little prop bets.
Yeah, another bet we were looking at were the sacks, and we were like, hey, honestly, it's pretty good value to go any 3 of these guys: Leonard Floyd, Aaron Paul, bitch, Aaron Donald, and Nick Bosa. All 3 of them got sacks. We were saying about Allen Robinson getting the over, which ended up happening. So just, we're pretty good at this. Now that we've got the hang of what the 49ers are going to give us, we're able to really kind of maneuver around there. So subscribe, hit the notification bell, stay up to date on what we're posting. We're posting.
And that's the thing. We're rolling so much right now in the wins, in the money, that we doubled down this past week. We hit the over on the points. We hit the over touchdown, or McCaffrey getting a touchdown. So we are winning right now. We just want to help you guys win. So subscribe to the channel and we'll drop that every Saturday for you guys. But going forward, next week, well, it kind of goes hand in hand, because next week we are on a bye week and the 49ers Diamond Pick of the Week is not going on bye week. We will drop a pick this week, even though the 49ers aren't playing and it is a 49ers based bet. We're going to stay in the NFC West. So we're not particularly sure which game yet. We got to look at the props. We got to look at the spread, everything, all that good stuff. But we will drop that this Saturday, so you won't be missing a bet. And we're going to go for 6 in a row, man.
We're going to do it. We're not going for it. We're doing it.
But going into the bye week, how are we feeling about the timing of this bye week?
Man, I'm with George Kittle. George Kittle came out and commented and said, hey, you know what? I wish the bye week wasn't this week. It feels like we finally have something that's clicking. I think this is sustainable. I would really like to keep that momentum going. And that's exactly how I'm feeling headed into this bye week. I really wish there was another game, another big game, because this is what the 49ers live for. They live to, prove that they are the big man on campus. They have just all the personalities for it. While I do think it's, beneficial to have a week off to, this defense is struggling because, just the injuries. I would really like for them to just keep pressing the pedal to the metal and let's get after it. But obviously it fell where it fell. And, coming out of this, we're going to be playing the Chargers in 2 weeks. It's a long time off before our next game, but we'll see how we come out.
And see, I'm on the opposite end of this. I think it's a perfect time for the bye week because this is what we always talk about in the Shanahan era is they look amazing. They look like world beaters one week. The next week they sort of come back down to earth and they look pretty terrible. It's almost like Kyle just unloads his playbook one week and the next he doesn't really have much to go off of. And especially that he wanted to showcase McCaffrey so much, get him so involved. He obviously was adding little nuances so much into that one week. This gives us another week to get healthy. The defense, yeah, they look good this last game, but we can get a couple pieces back, hopefully. And then we have 2 full weeks to scheme for Kyle to get in his little lab and work on Debo, McCaffrey, Ayuk, Kittle, like even Jeff Wilson Jr. if he doesn't get traded. Like Jeff Wilson Jr. looked good as the backup in that game too.
He did.
So he has all this time. So the first half of this Chargers game, we should be putting up points every drive. And that's a game that before the season, I think we gave them an L here. And now looking at how Brandon Staley's been holding up and that defense hasn't been holding up for them, like this is a game that I think now we could say we're supposed to win.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. I called this a win, but I also said that we'd be like 12 and I'd say we'd get 12 wins. So I'm off here, but I think that this is a game the 49ers live for. They live to be like, hey, you think you have something? You think that you were crowned the like winner of this offseason? You have all these stars. Like, let's knock you down a peg. Even though the Chargers have been knocked down a peg, these guys do have they have like the Michael Jordan, like I took offense to that. That's exactly what this 49er team like has. They have that attitude. Well, they will build like this. Did you hear about Aaron Andrews said about Trent Williams, where he was like, oh, I used to like coming and playing against the Rams because I knew McVay. I knew a lot of these guys before I came to San Francisco, but now I don't like these guys. I hate seeing them. I hate coming down here. And it's like, yo, he has that attitude. Like that's one of your leaders. The rest of the team takes that attitude. And so you think like little brother in LA is going to come out here and be like this favorite? Nah, we're going to knock you down a peg. So I would really like to them do like both LA teams back to back. I think it would have had a lot of juice, but
that's my thing too, is like, why can't the 49ers have that same energy for all the games? Like, I know it's special for the Rams, but like at least bring some of that energy. Like, where was that during the Falcons game? Like, we could have used that for the teams like we should have beat, like the Broncos game. Like, they just came out flat in those games, and then they want to beat the Rams and act like, you know, they're on the top of the world. And like, yeah, you can for that 1 week, but there's also these games that we're supposed to win, and like you guys don't get up for them, and that's like where I'm saying like this. If there was a game immediately after this game, I feel like it was just like it would have been the typical Shanahan letdown game where he looked amazing 1 week and the next week, like they just flat. And so that's why I do like the bye week being right here and gives him 2 weeks to prepare. He doesn't have an excuse. They have to come out and it's going to be scripted. Like the whole first quarter should be scripted. He has so much time. So we should be able to score a lot.
Yeah. And I mean, we'll see. We'll see what ends up happening. I think it's going to be a dub. I think this is, again, a must win. As long as the Seahawks keep winning, we have to keep up with and it's weird to say like we have to keep up with the Seahawks, but the Seahawks look good. The Seahawks look definitely good. Out of the NFC West, like I think they're the most well-rounded team as far as the coaching. They just Bill Belichick do their job. They're not like overly like stepping and one's being a superstar and like, oh, like watch me. Did you see the sneak diss that Tyler Lockett had against Russell Wilson?
No.
He was like to end the press conference. He was like, yeah, it's nice when you just play as a team and no one's fighting for credit. And It's like, damn.
Did you
These
see
guys hated this motherfucker?
Did you see the sneak diss that who did it? Who played the Cardinals this week?
Oh, the Vikings.
Yeah, the Vikings. Patrick Peterson. He did the gamer.
Oh no!
Gamer celebration in the end zone. Sneak diss to Kyler. But yeah, we'll get into the playoff picture at the end of the show. But speaking of scoring and everything going into this next week, there is the rumors this wide receiver lurking around the league. He's over here. He's pretty much gossiped that he's gonna go to every team,
And
like
he's
the
making
Packers.
the rounds.
So
He's making the rounds.
OBJ, they came out and said that the Niners should be interested. He'd be interested in going there. Do you think we should make that move? I know we just cut Willie Snead. We're bringing in wide receivers for workouts. Mohamed Sanu among them, who is a Kyle Shanahan guy. Do you think the 49ers take another swing and get OBJ?
I think that, well, one, it wasn't just like, hey, rumors. Adam Schefter had said this. So like Adam Schefter has credible sources. He said that last year the 49ers were interested, that if they keep winning, he doesn't see why they wouldn't be interested again and why OBJ wouldn't be interested in coming over this team. I think that's a lot of firepower. I personally like it. I would go for OBJ just because look at where we were last week. You know what I mean? With Jawan Jennings and Deebo Samuel out, we had like Tay Martin, and it was really just two receivers out there on the field. It was just Brandon Ayuk and Ray McCloud. I didn't really see anyone else. Did you? Did you notice anybody else running routes out there?
Who was 81? There was who's 81 on the team?
Who that? I don't know.
I saw 81 out there, and I was like, I have no idea who this guy is. That Tay Martin? I don't know.
Do you want me to look it up?
I mean, yeah.
No,
let's just. I'm gonna guess it was Tay Martin out there because it wasn't Willie Snead. I remember watching a play and be like, "Who is this guy on the field?" That's the first time this season it stumped me.
You sorted by number?
Tyler Kroft. That's why.
That's not even that's a tight end.
That's why I didn't recognize him, because Tyler Kroft's been hurt all season. But I mean, good to see him out there. He didn't really do much, but yeah. I don't know. I'm in the opposite. I think we should sign OBJ, but I don't know what this McCaffrey trade and win has done to your perception of Kyle. But I feel like you're coming at like all this history of Kyle has been erased from your mind, because a move like this is not what Kyle Shanahan does. Like, yeah, they made the McCaffrey trade and they look good, but like recently, like Kyle doesn't put like back-to-back blowout games in a row. And that's why I'm like, okay, yeah, the bye week, good. And they don't like take big swings like this. Like, they're going to sign Mohamed Sanu and they're going to be like, fans, we don't care that you want OBJ. You're going to take, we have OBJ at home and it's Mohamed Sanu and you'll like it. And that's what they're going to do. Like, that's not what Kyle does in like mixing it up. He wants his guys. And that's what we've been talking about all season. But then they go and sign McCaffrey or trade for McCaffrey. And now you think, well, now he's going to swing. He's going to be completely different.
I don't think this was Kyle's move. I was telling you this before. I don't think this was Kyle's move. I think he's getting a lot of pressure from York. I think he's getting a lot of pressure from John Lynch to be more open-minded. I think that this was Lynch's move to go and get Christian McCaffrey. I think that, well, one, John Lynch turned down a boatload of money to be here. And you think he wants to be like Kyle Shanahan's just right-hand man, like, and just be like, oh yeah, I'll listen to you. You're the GM. Go ahead. No, he wants to make decisions. So that big splash play to go get Christian McCaffrey, I think that was John Lynch being like, Kyle, trust me. Like, I will get you the players. You let me do my job. I've done a pretty good job so far. Let me have at it. And he did, and it ended up working out.
But you think
the same thing could be said here, where OBJ is on the market. Hey, we have to pay him. He's going to take a pay cut to come here. Let's go get him. Why not, Kyle? Like, if I'm going to do this, you're just going to sit there and you're going to scheme it up. Let's do it.
But we've said this whole time, like this whole tenure has been, it's Kyle's say, no matter what. Like, now you think that John Wall. You think that John Lynch has finally hit the wall, and now he's putting his foot down, like that he's been kind of a doormat to Kyle. Like, yeah, this is where he's like, now I'm the captain.
I think so. I mean, look at this past offseason. Again, he was in high demand. Amazon was going to pay him like double his salary, but he turned it down. And I think that move goes a long way for Jed York. Jed York is a guy who, if you treat him right, he is going to open up the doors and be like, hey, let's go. And fans have been critical of Kyle. You're not the boy genius anymore. You're not seen as this guy on this pedestal. There's some heat, and there's heat every single week for Kyle. And you know this. Like, we see it on the Twitter streets. We see what's going on. So do I think Jed is like, hey, John, if there's a move, make it. Like, I think he's a little bit more empowered considering, what happened this past offseason and what's been happening through the rest of this season.
Yeah, I could buy that. Like, John Lynch finally getting fed up and being like, I think I need to take some swings here, because say we didn't do the McCaffrey trade and Jeff Wilson doesn't look so great going forward and we win like 6 games, Lynch is getting fired before Shanahan gets fired.
Yeah.
Like, bottom
100%.
line, they're going to cut Jimmy and blame him. And then if fan base pushes back more, they're going to be like, well, John Lynch made all these decisions, blah, blah, blah. Look how he handled the Jimmy situation last season. Cut. And Shanahan would be the last one out of the building. Yeah. So, I mean, if Lynch is putting his foot down and says, no, I'm going to add another weapon, and it does take away from the Rams, who, they haven't played it the best with OBJ, but they do have a foot in the door kind of before everyone else because he was there last year. But it does take another weapon, and I would rather see the Rams, like, we do everything to make sure they drown more and more in the losses. And even if it means the Seahawks get first place and we get the wild card, I feel way better going to Seattle and playing them in playoffs than having to see the Rams a third time this season.
Yep.
Is that a fair?
We've seen it. It's hard for NFL teams to sweep, let alone to beat them 3 times in a row. We've seen it last year. It just doesn't happen. Like, how many times has it happened in an NFL season where a team gets beat by the same team 3 times? Like, the coaching is too good.
We just saw it.
Yeah. The coaching is too good in the NFL. There's freak injuries. There's just too many circumstances that need to happen where a team gets beat 3 times in a row. You know what I mean? So I would agree with you. I would rather go to Seattle than, see the Rams again in any capacity.
Like, if the Rams could miss playoffs, I think that just sets up dream run to the Super Bowl for the 49ers. Because I do not want to see McVay in playoffs. I respect to them. Like, that, if they, at the end of the season, like, they're going to put together and they're going to get close. And
yeah, for sure.
If not make playoffs, then that's a scary, scary tandem to see, like, Cooper Kupp and Stafford and Donald and all those people, like, in the playoffs. So outside of that, like, the playoff picture in general, the 49ers are in second place. We're at 500 now. We're going to the bye week. Is there any worry, or, like, how are you feeling of our status right now in the playoff race? I know we're talking about the Rams being below us, Cardinals are losing, but the NFC race is like the parity of the league this season. It's kind of wild.
It is. So there's a lot of teams. There's not a ton of teams at that top tier. I feel like the Giants are due for a fall off. I feel like the Eagles are good and they keep adding, but I feel like we're going to see a step back. And, like, once teams start to figure out Jalen Hurts, what does that do? How do they adjust then? But there's a lot of teams, like, right there in the middle where they're within striking distance. You know what I mean? But I feel really good about the 49ers. I said this last week, even though it was a doom and gloom show coming off the loss. I was like, hey, you know what? All this could be bullshit. We could go in and make a really deep run because the schedule is not hard moving forward. It's just not. You know what I mean? There's not a really huge, like, road trip that the 49ers have to make. I want to say, for the most part, I think it's going to be like the furthest one is I want to say the furthest one is like Vegas now. So taking on the Chargers, taking on the Saints, the Dolphins, the Bucks, Seahawks, Commanders, Raiders, Cardinals. All those I feel good about. There's none of those teams I feel like, damn, the 49ers, that's, just go ahead and write that as an L right now. I would have felt that way about the Chargers if they were healthy, but they're not healthy and their coaching is a joke. And we're coming off the bye weeks. Again, there's a lot that adds to that where I don't feel like the Chargers are going to be, that dangerous of a team. And I'm not really too concerned about the Seahawks. I feel like the Seahawks, they play they're your like oatmeal of NFL teams where it's like you don't really want it, but it's going to have everything you need. And, you know, if you do have it, it's a serviceable breakfast. You know what I mean? Same thing with the Seahawks.
The Seahawks barely beat a terrible showing from Daniel Jones. So
a serviceable Seahawks team.
Here's the thing that, I mean, I'm not complete, like, as far as the panic meter, I'm at like a 4, only because there are a lot of teams hovering where the 49ers are hovering. Like, basically everyone is in it except the Panthers and the Lions. Like, and we were even texting, like, the Bears are making trades. They just traded Roquan Smith. And you even told me, like,
that tanks them.
You were like, why are they doing, like, why do they seem like they're good because of their record, but then they're like also trying to tank? So they're caught in that in-between zone. But yeah, like, I would probably say they're out too. But other than that, everyone else in the NFC has a shot right now. And the only thing that worries me is if we don't win this division, I think we're already pretty well above the Rams with those 2 wins. Cardinals, who's to say they don't start racking off the wins and the Niners lose a couple games here and there? I don't know. Seahawks, they don't scare me, but for some reason they keep winning. And they're in the driver's seat right now. They're a game ahead of us. So what worries me is the 49ers doing what Kyle Shanahan and Jimmy G do best. Losing the games that they're supposed to win. And it doesn't have to be all of them. But if it is 2 or 3 of them for the rest of the season, that puts us in a hole that we're already like digging since the beginning of the season. Like, we have 4 losses and we probably should have won all of those games or 3 of those games. And you look around the league, all the teams that aren't in first place right now, Cowboys 6 wins, Giants 6, Commanders have 4, Rams 3, Cardinals 3, Packers 3, Bears 3, and then the NFC South, Falcons have 4, Bucks have 3, Saints have 3. And we're only 1 win above most of those teams. And I mean, yeah, you could say the Giants are going to fall off, but if they win 4 more games for the rest of the season, do the Niners get to 10 wins? Like, yeah, they can, but say they like fuck around and get to 9, like, we could miss the playoffs.
I'm not as concerned. I feel like the schedule is set up very easily moving forward. And again, we're playing a couple of those teams. We're playing the Seahawks. We're playing the Cardinals twice. We're playing the Saints. We're playing the Commanders. And we're playing the Raiders, who are just like floundering. You know what I mean? So I feel good about all of those games. I don't feel like any of those are going to be like,
I just think like so far outside of the division winners, like 2 teams from the NFC West, some of the NFC East look like they're going to make it just because they're so far ahead of everyone else. Like having 6 wins, 6-2 at this point, like they can stumble the rest of the way and probably make a wild card spot. And then if the Rams pull it together, they're only 3-4. The Packers, you would expect Aaron Rodgers to pull it together and make a push.
I'm just saying,
like, traditionally, the Bucks,
they look bad. They look pretty bad.
The Bucks are a team that like you expect to be around at the end.
They just lost Shaq Barrett, though. Again, I think a lot of these teams are more flawed than we think. Just at a glance, you're like, oh, Aaron Rodgers and the Packers are going to make it. Aaron Rodgers and the Packers have really, really struggled. I don't know if they're gonna right this ship. You know,
I don't know.
Same thing could be said with the Bucks. Like the Bucks were really messed up, like not bringing back Bruce Arians and letting Todd Bowles run it. It's not going well. You know,
Giselle tanked the season.
Dude, do you see what Florio was saying about the divorce? How he was like, the divorce, like things really got ugly between Tom and Giselle when the news about the Dolphins came out.
Oh yeah,
she didn't know that he was like looking to be an owner with that franchise. So she was like, "What the hell, is this true?" So you know, I don't know, speculations.
In the words of AB, it is what it is. You know.
Yep. But yeah, I think a lot of these teams are flawed.
You know who's on the come up though? My boy Heineke on the Commanders. All he does is win. And you see what his like incentive is?
No.
It was like every game that he plays like 65% of snaps and gets a win. It was like 600K or something like that. And he even said he buys with that bonus a pair of Jordans that are the color of the team he beat. That boy check his x-rays. He has that dog in him. But yeah, Heineke, that's his team for the rest of the season. They should have never doubted my boy.
Yo, and speaking of the Commanders game, we're going to actually be at that Commanders game. So say what's up to us. If you're going to be there for the Christmas time, like hit us up, let us know. We'd love to meet you. Yeah. Be on the lookout for that.
Let us know. Tweet at us. We'd love to, go grab a drink like before the game, go grab a drink after the game. We'll be there probably like the weekend, right? No?
I will be there the day before and we're leaving the day after because the day after is Christmas, but I'm down to hang. Yeah. What's up, guys?
Hit us up, Bay Area guys. And even if you're not trying to hang out, like tweet us like your favorite bars. We'll go check them out. We need some recommendations because I haven't been going out in the city as much lately.
And it's not in the city, it's in Santa Clara, but whatever.
But you know what I mean? Like I'll probably spend one day in like SF and then go to the Santa Clara the next, and we'll be in the area. It's all the Bay. Once Bart actually connects to Santa Clara, like that'll be chef kiss perfect. I think, did we have anything else for this show?
I think that's it. I think done.
I think that's good. We're gonna do some YouTube exclusives after this, so make sure you check the show notes and click on that YouTube link.
Yeah, thanks for hanging. Take it easy.
Have a good one, guys. Happy Halloween.